Good evening, Yonkers. This is Freddie Vasquez. Tonight on Basement Politics, I have a special guest with me. Let's discuss Empress. Also, the missing presidents. They have been found. Join me. Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Empress. Let's discuss Empress, the ambulance company that services Yonkers, with special guest, creator and founder of Inside Yonkers. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. How you doing? How you doing today? It's Sunday, and we are going to talk about Empress. Also, I want to discuss the missing presidents. Did you guys see the video that Alberto Velasquez did with the Yonkers voice up at the unity in the community? I mean, it didn't really seem like it was much unity there. Well, anyway, folks, help me welcome my guest. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right. How you doing? Introduce yourself to the people. You're on.
Hey, Freddie, like always, it's a pleasure. Nishan Flan, the founder, CEO of Inside Yonkers.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up there. Say your name again. One more time. I'm sorry.
Founder of Inside Yonkers, Anderson Flan.
Anderson from Inside Yonkers, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. I saw your post there. I did share it in regards to Empress. I'm going to let you tell me what's going on because you know more to it about it than I do. Tell me.
It's a pleasure to be back, Freddie. So,
it's a pleasure having you.
Not a lot of people understand what's going on with the response times. A lot of frustrated people have approached me about the response times for Empress, as well as some concerned citizens. 80% plus of their calls, they have a 18-minute or more response time.
Okay, this is in response, in regards to the response time of Empress ambulance. You're saying that on average they're taking 18 minutes to respond to a call?
18 minutes or more to respond to any type of call within the city of Yonkers.
And why is that? Is it the traffic? Is it that there's a lot of people, the construction?
It's not about construction, people, or any of that. It's about before we go on with this, I just want to make it clear. We appreciate every single EMT, paramedic, communications member that works for Empress. This isn't about them. This is about the Minervas, the ones who run Empress, and what they prefer to do.
Once I heard that they had sold Empress to Minervas. Is that true?
Minervas are the founders. The mother of the Minerva brothers is the founder of Empress, who was a doctor.
So they still own it, the family.
So they still own it, and they have actually taken over some other ambulance companies throughout Putnam County, Dutchess County, Rockland County. Now they have extended to the Bronx.
Right. Well, let's go back to the response time. So why is it taking 18 minutes or longer to respond, and why are some of the members or employees maybe frustrated?
Under contract agreement within the city of Yonkers and Empress, which was just recently extended for one more year in hopes that Spano can extend his term in office, because the Minervas are huge campaign supporters for the Spano.
So you're saying that they had an extension, a contract extension, as a result of the upcoming election for mayor?
That's what it's really about, let's be honest.
But what does that have to do with the response time?
Usually the response times and the contract has to do with the obligation that Empress has to the city, which is none. but to respond to the calls, which under contract agreement, it's supposed to be within 3 to 4 minutes. Average, the top is 8 minutes response times, but that's not the case. It's 18 minutes or more.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
15-minute, so difference there.
to a point where the reason for this is they're diverting ambulances. I've been told no many times, but
What do you mean by they've
before
been
we
diverting ambulances? What do you
so
mean by that?
before we stopped going live on scenes, we obviously listened to the radios to find out when calls were coming in and the information on the call, so we could go and film it live. So during those times, we would monitor our radios, which we actually still do. Um, we've heard them divert ambulances from going to 911 calls to going to inter-facility transfer.
So
They
they've
do
been
not make
diverting
money.
ambulances from emergency calls to do transfers?
Correct. And that is with my own personal ears. And I've heard it from other people. Like,
And what do you mean by transfer?
uh,
Like transfer a patient from one place to another?
inter-facility transfers are like private contracts within nursing homes, hospitals, and such things.
So you're saying,
Like,
I'm sorry, I just want to get clarity here for, for people who may not, be, or maybe just joining. So you're saying that the Empress, the ambulance company that services much of Yonkers, has a response time, an average now of 18 minutes or more. However, they've recently extended a 1-year contract with the city again, which they've had many contracts with the city. And in that contract, I'm sorry, are you outside? I'm sorry. Is there a way we could? Yeah, there we go. And you're saying that in that contract, they have to respond between 3 to 4 minutes, 8 minutes tops. However, that's not been happening, right? And the reason why that's not been happening is because instead of responding to 911 calls, emergency calls, they have been being diverted to do interagency or something, which transfers, which is something that they get paid for because they have these contracts with various agencies and maybe medical facilities and stuff. And so are they simply saying, well, this is we want to honor these contracts, these are guaranteed money, as opposed to maybe these 911 calls? Why would they do that?
you just said it. It's about guaranteed income rather than non-guaranteed income, which are 911 emergencies in the city of Yonkers. There has been meetings within city officials, union leaders with Empress, and it has not changed a single thing because it has been happening for quite some time now.
Well,
We're
so
just
who's making these
now,
decisions? I guess this would be like, ownership, management. Who's making the decision to do this?
obviously it's ownership to management. Uh, ownership is management within Empress. They work in Empress. Uh, they're not at home sitting around doing nothing. They're actually in Empress. They do sometimes go to some of these calls riding along with their supervisors. But it seems like that still hasn't done much of a difference in trying to improve their response time.
Yeah, I would imagine that, and I see it a lot, right? I'm sure a lot of you folks out there driving around Yonkers see it as well. You see ambulance, you see the ESU guys, police, and they're attending to a homeless person, right? And I would imagine that person's probably not carrying his medical card, his insurance card with him or her, right? Probably don't have any. And so these are a lot of the calls that they probably go to or are getting calls for some guy, maybe homeless who's drunk, passed out. I've seen a guy like that on Neverhand. I thought he was dead, but someone says that he's always like that on the floor. I was like, oh my God, am I witnessing a dead body? And so, there's no money in there, right? Is that what it is? A lot of calls coming in, are a lot of, people who are uninsured. And so they prefer to make sure they go to the guarantee money and they honor these lucrative contracts. So they're choosing money over lives, basically.
Yes, and they already have done that. They
What do you mean
they
by
didn't
that?
have any ambulances available at one point in the city of Yonkers to where Empress has several contracts, which they have dedicated service to New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Pelham Manor, White Plains, Yorktown, other areas. And they have actually taken ambulances from those other towns and cities to respond to Yonkers. In one case where someone did suffer a very traumatic injury due to the response time of Empress sending an ambulance from Ossining to Yonkers for an emergency.
All the way from Austin.
All the way from Ossining. I had to confirm that more than 3 times because I was in shock. Yeah, and I had confirmation.
And is that because there were no ambulance available? I mean, they have the yard there, that the base, I guess, whatever you want to call it, over there on Neperhan Avenue. I see it full of ambulances.
Yes, it is full of ambulances, but majority of those are doing transfers or for other dedicated areas. They don't have a dedicated system in Yonkers, and it's really dangerous.
So what do you think needs to be done about this? I mean, how do we rectify the situation? How do they bring down these response times, to what they're obligated to according to the contract?
Maybe time for a whole new EMS agency. Maybe time for the city of Yonkers to have its own EMS agency. But as long as you have a private agency that highly supports the campaign of the present mayor, can't really be a trusted process,
So you're saying something like, and you know what, this might be a good idea, right? This might be a good idea, right? Because it could be more city jobs that they can provide, right? It's kind of like the FDNY. And, we are now the third largest city in the state of New York. We have over 212,000 people. And so maybe something with the YFD, an ambulance unit, a medical unit, something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Something similar. I really haven't thought it that much through about that because the priority for me has been trying to figure out why they haven't done much in improving this.
Someone had just said the third largest city doesn't have its own EMS agency.
They do not, and most cities do. Yonkers is the largest city in Westchester. Besides that, from down Yonkers, it would be Buffalo, the next largest municipality, especially with their fire department. And they have private EMS, but that's a whole different situation. Yonkers is a city that needs its own EMS system in my opinion, so it can accurately work. Because obviously, like I said, you have a system that is not being monitored how it's supposed to be. It's not going to work out.
Well, I mean, that would require an entire system to be set up, more salaries to be paid. And, if obviously if they're avoiding 911 calls because they're not getting paid money, I don't know if the city wants to, jump into that, just saying, I mean, I'm just looking at it from that perspective, doesn't seem, we already have the, salaries that we contend with now being super high. A lot of people complain about that. And, the police contract, right? That's now, being talked about 3 years without a contract. And then also CSEA, my guy, Alberto, I'll be talking about him in a minute. So, I mean, what do you think? Could they get us, I don't know. I don't see it being able to be a possibility. Maybe there needs to be just someone that whips things into shape and says, hey, Empress, you guys need to step up. Otherwise, you're going to lose your contract, right?
Yeah, but you won't get that from the people that, support you in your campaign, right? They won't have that type of discussion.
Well, what do you think? I would think that the mayor would care about people, and would say, hey, listen, if you want these contracts, you have to make sure that you're getting there between 3 and 4 minutes.
I think we've seen the mayor has other priorities right now.
And what are those?
Money making, their family business. We've talked already about the developments, but that's something we already spoke about. If something that they have already had meetings about multiple times, and I can confirm that they hasn't improved, it's because they're not even giving them a slap on the wrist. They're not doing anything. And like I said, this is about ownership going down to management, not about the hardworking EMTs and paramedics out on the field,
Right. Yeah. We always try to make sure that we distinguish that and make it very clearly, especially like when we talk about the the Yonkers police and the, firefighters, we want to make sure that, we know that the men and women who, put those uniform on, work very hard and do a very great job. So we're not, it's not about that. And it's also really, actually in support of them, because I would imagine that they want to make sure that they respond in adequate time. They want to save lives, right?
So check this out. Do you know their billing revenue percentage? It's at 60%, highest of the industry at this moment.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? Revenue percentage? What's that?
Empress.
Yeah.
So they have the highest revenue percentage, which is 60% at their pricing.
Oh, okay.
For interfacility transfers. You don't get not even 10% going to medical emergencies, because barely some of those people have, like you mentioned earlier, barely have insurance, don't have insurance. So that's predominantly a big factor as to why this is going on. They're diverting and sending units to as many interfacility transfers as they can, that when it might be slow in the city in the morning, 2 o'clock hits, they get bombarded with calls.
Right. More people
and they didn't think that through and have all their ambulances dedicated in these transfers, because they do not have to have a dedicated ambulance in the city of Yonkers.
Oh, no, that's not in the contract? They don't have to have a dedicated ambulance?
They're supposed to just respond to the calls.
Well,
Nothing states how many ambulances are supposed to be in the city. And the only thing that's under the contract is their response times, which is supposed to be 3 to 4 minutes. The max is 8.
You would think that would be in the contract, but I guess they figure, well, if we're telling them 3 to 4 minutes, then, I mean, obviously they would need to have an ambulance or 2 or 3 stationed, in Yonkers somewhere, so they can respond within, 3 to 4 minutes. Because, I mean, sometimes just from my office to the bank, if I go into Getty Square, that could be 10 minutes right there, longer, So, I mean, I would imagine that they have to have stationed throughout the city of Yonkers. And I mean, they also have, sirens and stuff like that. They get to go through lights and all that. But I would imagine that they would, just based on the need or the required response time. I was going to say something else, and I kind of just, excuse me. Oh, I was going to say this to people out there, right? If, God forbid, and this is God forbid, I don't want anything to happen to anyone, but if you or your family member, loved ones get, injured more, or, something really bad happens to them as a result of a delayed response time from EMS, or Empress, I should say, now you know what's going on. They're diverting ambulances to cater to their corporate contracts. So God forbid something happens, you better take them to court. You hear that, Empress? People know what's up. People know your game. So God forbid you guys, cause further damage or further injury to an individual because of your delayed response time, because you're putting profits before people. They're going to come sue you. Okay. Now they know what's up, right? Put them on notice.
Freddie, besides the delayed response, think about the firefighters and the police officers that are certified first responders that arrive on the scene until the ambulance arrives. Imagine how many times they get calls for their other jurisdictions or their jurisdiction, but they can't respond, so they have units from other areas of the city responding, because they're busy waiting for the ambulance 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes.
Yeah, I have waiting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I was finished.
No, I was just saying, I have a personal story with that, actually. And you just reminded me. I was told by someone, a lot of people know, actually, a cousin of mine recently, one of my cousins that works for the city, because, I have so many, everyone that's Spanish works in my city. Anyway, thank God, it's a true story. He recently, he flatlined. His heart just stopped, and he's younger than me. So I'm not sure. My first question was, did he take the vaccine? But he flatlined, and I was told that it was Yonkers police who brought him back, who got his heart going again, not, the paramedics. So I guess, maybe they were delayed also, and it took the Yonkers police officers to get in there and actually have to revive him. So shout out to you, to the Yonkers police officers who revived my cousin. This happened very recently. I was just told about it, and so again, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I mean, we our family owe you guys.
The city of Yonkers Fire Department and Police Department has some of the most qualified and most highly trained members in the country. Trust me, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Thank God, because Empress is not doing a great job, right?
These guys, these members of ESU, the Emergency Service Unit, remember, these guys are not just SWAT officers or breaking down your doors. They're paramedics. They're EMTs too. That's why they respond to some of these calls. They're
Right.
not there because you did something or someone did something all the time. Everyone's in the same partnership of providing for the city, but we're kind of missing Empress in that now because they're prioritizing other things.
Well, hopefully, after we do this podcast, we can get them to step up on that response time because, lives depend on it. I mean, lives matter, right? All lives matter, Empress. So when they call 911, make sure you guys are, following your contract and not even just for the sake of the contract, right? That you respond in 3 to 4 minutes, but for the sake of someone's life, right? Someone's life, people's lives depend on you guys, depend on Empress. So, I mean, hopefully, people start to talk and word to get out. Maybe they'll say, hey, people are talking about our response time. We got to step it up, or buy more ambulances. I mean, if you got lucrative contracts like that, buy more ambulances, hire more local people from Yonkers, and there you go, right? I don't know. That solve it?
Pretty much, but
All
hey,
right.
you know.
Well, anything else you want to say on this topic? Because I wanted to move on to something else. If there's anything else, so I want to give you that opportunity.
I'm all set, man. It is we will be bringing out more information on that, and anybody that has an experience about it, contact us. We'd like to speak to you or share your story.
Absolutely.
Um,
They-
and
you know,
that's
they,
pretty much it.
you got a good following there, and so people can reach out to you on the Facebook page there, where you have over 20,000, 21,000 followers, and you also have mentioned the development going up on Hudson 44 Hudson Street development there in the ShopRite, and you also mentioned that the ShopRite was going. So how confident do you feel about that?
Yeah. So today we got an email return. One of my because I'm not the only one that runs inside because I have an entire team that works very hard for me. I'm very grateful for.
Shout out to your
One
team.
of my guys has gotten in contact with Whole Foods, and we're working. We are working on confirmation from Whole Foods, but we
Look at
did
that.
also get another story that they might not be able to buy. ShopRite might have denied sale of that building, so they might do it behind. But we are already working with the Whole Foods business development team, which is what they call themselves, and we're waiting on that email. And we will do a follow up as soon as we hear back from them.
Sounds good. Sounds like you guys are doing your homework, man. Shout out to you guys for doing the homework, doing the investigation, doing the research. It's very important. And so, people like you and inside Yonkers, and I like to think guys like me who are here simply to bring awareness to the people of the city of Yonkers. We care about the city, we care about the residents, and our goal is simply to bring transparency and hopefully even save lives by pushing Empress to make sure that they respond on time so that they don't lose a life because of their delayed response, right? And so I appreciate everything that you're doing, man, and that you are getting that information on there because I've spoken about that, the way that was done. Very recently, they had the groundbreaking there. I think you shared the picture with the city council president, the majority leader there, and a woman by the name of Wilson Kimball. Are you familiar with Wilson Kimball?
I am not. That's something I was going to mention. You're the politics side of me. I never wanted to get into politics, so I think that's
Me either.
why. That's why I think you're the best at it, and that's why
Thank you.
you're kicking ass at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Wilson Kimball is the CEO and president of Municipal Housing Authority, but she has been very, involved in the market rate luxury apartments that have been going up. She was very involved in that one actually getting approved from sources. She was the one that pushed to get the 3 zoning board members removed and then replaced. And again, one of them was Jeffrey Landsman. Someone had asked me who was it. From what I'm hearing, he was replaced. There was some others, but the guy that replaced him was a young kid by the name of I think it's Luke Gelage. I may have gotten that wrong, but he's a Gelage, 20-some-year-old son of an investor here in the city of Yonkers, and he's just approving everything. Shit, approve. But they initially didn't want to approve that because they didn't think it was good for the neighborhood. But obviously, there goes the neighborhood. It's changing, and as you can see, that's a big, like super big Manhattan, Miami-ish type of building. And if they're bringing in, if it's anything, if it's true what we're hearing about the Whole Foods, then we obviously know that they're just completely changing the dynamics there, the demographics, the whole feel of that downtown area, the people, everything, right? And obviously the income of that area. So yeah, I mean, a lot's happening there, and I'm glad that you guys are on it. Someone asked who represents Empress in Albany. Oh, no, that's that rhetorical question, actually. That's a rhetorical
That's not
question.
possible.
Huh?
The only person that can be held accountable for that would be Mayor Spano.
And how and so yeah, because he as assemblyman up in Albany, I believe that that person is implying about the lobbying firm that represents Empress up in Albany. Do you know anything about that?
I'm not quite sure about it, but Empress is not just its own company. It has multiple different names.
Well, I'll let you know a little bit.
Agency.
No, I'll give you a little bit of information on Empress since you're looking into those guys. Empress is a company that has hired a consulting company in order to get these contracts. That consulting company that has gotten them contracts here in the city of Yonkers, possibly that Bronx contract and elsewhere, is a company called by the name of Empire Strategic Planning. That company is owned by the mayor's brother, Nick Spano. It's had people working for it, like Deputy Mayor, was it Deputy Mayor Stephen Levy, who was a consultant. And speaking of Wilson Kimball, her husband, James Kavanaugh, who is the YIDA president, was also or is, depending on where you're getting your source from, a lobbyist also for Empire Strategic Planning. And they do a lot of lobbying for a lot of the companies here, especially the companies that have been here for decades. One of them is Empress, and they pay a monthly lobbying fee, and that's how they get contracts. They do very well. So and they were recently and actually and the reason why it's even coming up top of my head is because just today someone shared an article that was done by the Yonkers Tribune stating that MGM Grand, that's coming there and taking over Empire City, had hired Empire Strategic Planning as their lobbying firm, and Nick Spano. So that's a tie there to the Spanos, if just to help you out a little bit. Who represents most companies, developers, and even unions in Yonkers? Not for Yonkers issues, wink, wink, but rather looks out for the interests in Yonkers, right? And so I think they're referring to the same lobbying firm. But a lot of it is, and I know you say you're not into you're not into the politics thing, but a lot of it is politically connected, right? With the Empress
Absolutely.
and the response time and the contract and the fact that they're not, maintaining their responsibility, the obligation according to the contract by responding within the 3 to 4 minutes that it states in the contract, right? And being allowed to get away with diverting ambulances in order to service their more lucrative private corporate contracts, right? And there's no repercussions, there's no consequences, there's no fines, anything, no penalties. And so they just continue doing that, right? So that's the connection there. So you have to, really you have to tie politics into it. And like you, I was never looking to get into politics either. That wasn't my thing, but obviously it happened. And anyway, while I have you on here, CSCA, the union, CSCA, talking about unions and who represents unions. Are you aware or familiar with CSCA?
I am, yes.
Yeah, one of the largest unions here in the city of Yonkers and in Westchester. Well, I recently put up a post. It was a milk carton with the picture of their president, Alberto Velasquez. I said, you're missing. And so yesterday he popped up over at the Nodine Hills section. He was at the Unity in the Community event where he was there, I guess, showing face because he had not been around. I smoked him out. I smoked out Mr. Alberto, and so he had a nice conversation with our boy Yonkers Voice. I just want to play what he said there. I thought it was funny because these guys always talk about how irrelevant I am, but they always talk about me. It's funny, and I appreciate it because it just promotes me even more. But I'm just showing the picture here, the milk carton that I had put on up there. Well, and this is from members. Look, members are reaching out to me, right? I don't make anything up, right? I don't know, right? You don't make anything up. I don't make anything up. People are coming to us, and from things that we, investigate, from what sources tell us, right? So, people take it personal. Yeah. People take it personal, like as if I made this up, and why don't you respond to the people that are saying this? I am just amplifying it. I'm just putting it out there, and it needs to be put out there, like with this Empress thing, because that's a matter of life and death, right? But this thing here is a little funny, and this is members are upset with the individual because he's not around. He's on vacation a lot, and as the president of CSCA, you don't have to go to your job anymore, right? You don't go to your job anymore. Your new job is the president. So you're supposed to be doing presidential duties, right? Or whatever, but he's never in the office. He's obviously not at the job anymore. And yet he's receiving a salary. I mean, there's people out here that are unemployed that are not making that much money. Yet we're hearing that the president of CSEA is out in Puerto Rico flipping houses. So, we just put it out there and he got upset with me. And, Ruros just doesn't like me. So they decided to talk about me. So I want to just play that real quick. You know what? That's the one that's playing the music. I wanted to play without the music. But anyway, he goes, Ruros goes, hey, you're not missing. Somebody's saying that you're missing and you're found. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm not missing. There's this guy that's going around saying that I'm missing. But here we go. I'm going to play it now. Because it's oh, you can't hear it? I didn't share properly. So he tries to insult me. Thing as it's, I mean, I'm not easily insulted. I'm not a guy that's easily insulted.
How you doing, Ru? Is this Russell, the president of CSEA? Yes, we heard you were missing. We heard you hear the helicopter behind you just landed. The helicopter just landed, so I have to come here, make sure my CSEA members are up here by this neighborhood. So we're here for them. You know what? I talked to a lot of your CSEA members. Many of them are my friends. I never heard a single one telling me that they were looking for you and they couldn't find you. Oh, well, there's a guy out there. I guess he... No, we're not going to say the name. No names, but he wants to find me. I guess he wants for me to buy him dinner again, like I bought him dinner before. And I don't know. I'll take him out again for dinner if he wants. Yeah, I got his contact. Buy him something so he could feel, or I'll get him a doggy bag something. So he can feel important. So he can feel important and get more views. Okay? Now, Alberto, tell us about what's going on. You here why? I know you're here to support the community as you always do. Yes. That's important. But is anything going on in the union that you lead? Yes, we're working on a new contract. Hopefully, we're going to meet with the board soon. And I had to show up here because most of the members live in these areas. And we support this and we promoted it. We try to get people to come out and enjoy, come out. I'm part of the families bring them out to the streets, especially here in Yonkers. And we've been here in Yonkers so long. I'm part of Yonkers, and now I'm a CSEA member. So I want to make sure my members they vote, they get ready, and they do the right thing in Yonkers. So we wanted Yonkers strong. So, Mr. Velasquez, do you authorize me to make a public announcement to stop the search and say that you are not missing? Well, we should put that person in not in a milk carton, but we should put it in one of those games that they have in the corner streets because that's where he belongs. But you could put it, you could say it. So Alberto Velasquez, the president of CSEA, is not missing. He's right here in Yonkers, right here with the community, supporting the community. I'm only a phone call away. That's it. Only a phone call away. Don't believe in the rumors. Believe in reality. Yonkers voice.
No, he can't even look in the face.
Facts. We report facts. We don't add nothing to make it look like it's something.
First of all, he's talking with a convicted pedophile. Okay, that discredits you right there, Mr. Alberto, CSEA president. Okay, and he talks about a helicopter. You know why he made that comment? Because I joked about the fact that after he won, he became the president. Somebody must have got him a helicopter ride because he then puts a video out of he's coming out of a helicopter. He took like a tour. And he's like, the president is here. He's screaming, the president is here. The president is here. Like, really, dude? He let this thing go way to his head. So I joke with him on that. But no, the reality is that, a lot of his members have been complaining that he's not around. He's not at the meetings. He's not, at the negotiating meetings. He actually, for whatever reason, turned down an offer last negotiation and said he can get a better one and ended up getting them not a better one. It was actually worse than the one that was offered to him. And so now that was a 1 year. So now that's up. He's due to negotiate again, but he's not around. And what members are telling me is that Maribel de Jesus, one of the vice presidents, is holding it down. And the first VP I hear quit. He resigned. He said, I'm done. This guy's not doing anything. He's not around. He's out in Puerto Rico. He's doing his real estate thing, which, I mean, people tell me stuff. I mean, they told me how he got some of his money and started flipping his real estate thing. And so I'm not going to get too into it because I don't think that really is relevant, but that's where he's at. And so I spoke about it, and now he pops up, of course. And most of your members live in the No Dine Hill section. So you know what? You should be around more because that's one of the areas that has experienced, you know, the highest crime, a lot of shootings, right? And there's a lot going on there. A lot of people there, you know, are struggling to make ends meet. So you should be fighting hard for them, making sure you negotiate a great contract and stop playing, you know, these silly games and talking about me. He spent more time talking about me than what he's actually doing for his union. What is he doing for his members? He didn't even say much. Oh, I just came out here to say, you know, I show my face. Most of my unions are here. Just want to make sure that they come out to the street, you know, and yeah, we get a negotiation. Hopefully they'll be having a meeting. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully I'm just going to get back on my helicopter and go back to Puerto Rico and flip more houses. Hopefully. That's all he sounded like he said. And so, you know, this guy, you talk a lot about me. This is like the second or third time he's done something about me. He did a post about me. He said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't come on your show. I'm too busy. And he tags himself being in Miami. Really? That's exactly what I was telling people. You just proved me right. Right? So anyway, guy, you need to sit back, think about what you do and say first before you say it. And by the way, so what if you bought me dinner? I didn't expect it, but thank you. I appreciate it. Did I not thank you that night? And did you pay for everybody? Or is that just something that Zupta does? Because you're not the only one that's bought me dinner at Zupta's. Okay. In fact, I think Vinny Spano did also, I think. Or was it John Rubo? I'm not sure. But a few people have bought me dinner. Okay. You told me to come meet you. I said, okay. I was expecting to talk to you. You had a bunch of guys with you. You know, you guys look like the mobster guys, you know, over there at the table. I sat down, I ate. They said they got it. I said, okay, cool. And that was that. But it's not like I was calling you for dinner. It's not like I was asking you for anything. Not like when you were texting me and calling me, hey, where you at? When I was going around in the Lambo on Christmas, remember when I was giving the gifts out, you were at the library and you kept saying, hey, I'm over here at the library. Are you coming by? Hey, I'm over here. Are you coming by? I didn't do anything like that, Albertito. And I can show anyone the text and the calls. Okay? So stop it. You're not embarrassing me, dude. Not on my level. You don't embarrass me. So anyway, moving on. Mike Cater. I know you're not into politics, but Mike Cater also made an appearance. Mr. Cater finally made an announcement on the mayor's race. From what I'm hearing, he told the Yonkers Voice that his name will be on the ballot. What did I say? Did I not tell you this, folks? Because Freddie knows.
Him, honestly.
What's that?
I said good for him, honestly.
Well, I said he was going to run. I said, guarantee, watch, he's going to run. And so he recently made an announcement that he was going to be on the ballot. Well, at least he told that to the Yonkers Voice. And guess what happened? The Yonkers Tribune puts out an article about him, a negative one. Right?
Oh, of course.
Right?
He's got some history, and he's got, you know, he was bombarded with the last race. You know, look where he ended up.
You know what I don't like about this article, though? See, unlike you and I, right? Listen, we're not here to attack people for no reason. First of all, Mike Cater is not even a politician, right? So I'm not even. There's no reason for me to even discuss him. But you know, so the Yonkers Tribune, why discuss him? I mean, he calls himself a journalist, but he talks about people that are not really relevant. I mean, Mike Cater technically is not relevant, but if he is announcing, right, then why come after him negatively right away? Right? It doesn't make sense. And then say the things that he's saying about him, he called him, quote unquote, disgraced. How is he disgraced? I don't get that. Right? So he's trying to paint, you know, an image of him to the people who may read the Yonkers Tribune because his masters told him to. Right? And that's what he has to do. And so I don't think that was cool. And that just goes to show the you know, the type of individual he is. And I just want to read what he has here so really quick. And you can't read the rest because it's subscription only. Yonkers City Court Judge Elena Goldberg, and he ties the Judge Elena Goldberg to this, Velasquez. You know, tell this guy don't even put your name around this garbage, Elena. Yonkers City Court Judge Elena Goldberg Velasquez is expected to win and thereafter departing the Yonkers City Court and will next become a New York State Supreme Court Justice, thereby leaving in her wake an open position for Yonkers City Court Judge. This guy thinks he's a great writer, but he tries to so hard that it really just doesn't come out good. And even put no comma period there. It's a run on. When former disgraced, look, he says, when former disgraced Yonkers City Council President Mike Cater lost his re-election bid to Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Cater renewed his focus on what many people term his diminished law practice. Well, who said that? Who's the many people that termed that? Right? That this guy is unbelievable. It now seems that Mr. Cater has or will soon announce his intention and rules to seek office of Yonkers City mayor. Without a resolution to the allegations against Mr. Cater, it is impossible that he can win a citywide election. More plausible is that Mr. Cater's announced or soon to be announced intention to launch a campaign for Yonkers mayor is intended to motivate Yonkers City Hall to appoint him to Yonkers City Court. So basically there he's saying that, why is he even considering running for mayor if there's yet to be any resolution to that investigation that's been ongoing forever, right? But then he says that, but then you're calling him disgraced. If there was no outcome yet, why are you labeling him already, right? But then he also says, or is it just a ruse so he can get the Elena seat once she wins, because they know for sure she's going to win, no doubt about it. So is this just for him to kind of negotiate, at her position after she leaves for city court judge? Right. So they're trying to say that, he's going to come back. So they're basically trying to make him look like a guy that begs, he's disgraced. His law practice is no good, which I really don't know it is or not. So I don't know how many other people would know about that, I guess, really. So they try to make him look bad, keep him down right through the elections, because obviously there's some concern. And what the people of Yonkers should be most concerned with is how much taxpayer money is the Inspector General's office spending on outside sources, outside legal counsel, I should say, independent investigators, right? So that's something, Anderson, that we have to talk about, the wasteful spending of taxpayer money on political witch hunts. Anderson, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah, so they're wasting this taxpayer money trying to keep Mike Cater down because they don't want him to run for mayor or have any chance of winning the mayor's race.
They'll probably succeed on it, considering the way they did the extended term for Spano last time.
Well, many people say that might be happening again. They're going to eliminate terms and the mayor may run again. Although I'm hearing from sources that close to him that he's not sure if that's what he wants to do. I don't know how true that is. I think that he's going to run again. But again, I haven't had anyone tell me that's for sure. Someone wrote, Mike Cater is a victim of the corruption. He needs to come out and run for mayor and expose the corruption. Stand with the people and rally for truth and justice. And I think that that's what he's doing. I think that by telling the Yonkers Voice that he will be on the ballot, that's him saying, you know what, I need to start to come out, right? And I've said that. And I've said that on the podcast. I said, listen, at the very least, just say hello. Hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm here. I haven't gone anywhere. These people haven't, scared me away. I'm not hiding. I didn't build a bunker and go in it. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to build one. And so, and people want to feel that confidence in him and see that confidence in him that he can go in there, win, be strong, and make the change that they hope that he'll make if he wins, right? That's someone saying here, let's go, Mike. Spano already offered Cater a position as judge, and the insiders know that. Oh, really? I didn't hear that one. That's interesting. This is Hezi and his two-time convicted felon trying to get traction for his failed website. Yeah, Hezi, and then he puts his subscription only, right? But it's weird because you can read a lot of it, and you click on it, then you can read less. But he's going to release it on Monday. I don't know how many people actually have a subscription to that, right? I think he just likes to build the suspense. I think he gives out free passwords to the insiders.
I've never even tried to read an article from there.
What's that?
I've never even tried to read an article from there, honestly. Nothing against the guy, but it's just...
Sometimes it gives good information. I like to read the comments. People make a lot of interesting comments down there. Sometimes he allows certain people to come get through, but he doesn't allow everyone to make a comment. Like, he's very selective. He filters things out, and he creates a lot of stories. Like against Quesada and other people, especially Mike Cater. Breen. He started attacking Breen once he announced that he was going to be running against Nader Sage for the assembly. over the 90th district. So, and if folks, really, honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm the smartest man in the world. That's not what I'm saying. I just think it's very simple. If you just pay attention, see what they do, see what's done. Okay, see, he did this. Okay, that happened here, and then this happened. Oh, I see what's going on, right? So all you have to do, take all the little pieces, put them together, see the moves that happen, right? Who do you see on his website always advertising, right? That's a clue right there. That's an indication, right? We know that Nader Sage wanted to be superintendent. We also know that he wanted to be mayor, but that's not going to happen. They're not going to, Nader's not going to win. He knows that, and he may want to be superintendent. So then does Hezi attacking Quesada have to do with that, right? So, we have to just pay attention, see all these different things, and why does Hezi do what he do or does, it's always an agenda. He has 0 subscribers. See, I don't charge, right? This is not a money-making thing for me. I don't charge. I don't have advertisements. I'm here simply to just bring you folks the information, right? And I have nothing against, meeting with people, working with individuals, building relationships, because I know in business that gets you further, right? Than not. You have to build relationships. You have to work with certain people. Nothing is perfect, right? You can't have everything the ideal way. And sometimes you have to, maybe do certain things in order to get ahead, right? So you can have your goal and then ultimately create some change that you want, right? So I'm not against building relationships, and I'm not looking to make enemies, but we definitely have to put that information out there. And there definitely needs to be transparency, right? But I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want you guys to hate me, because I don't hate you guys. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug, all you council people. Give me a hug. Even the ones that try to set me up for child porn. Judge Joan Lefkowitz ruled he is not a legitimate news source and he is not protected as a journalist. No, he was sued, right? Because he was going after Keith Olsen, the PBA president. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
He put some false information out there.
So you agree with the false information on PBA president Keith Olsen? Why do you think he did that?
I mean, everyone's gonna have their enemies, right? Especially if they call them out on certain things, like us.
And why do you think
people that are accusers of things?
Why do you think Hezi was going after? It seemed like he was going after, PBA president Keith Olsen and also John Mueller.
There's a lot of stories when he was commissioner. There's a lot of things that were going on, but I rather not speak on that because I never wanted to confirm anything that I was given about that. But I know that I do remember when Hezi had the lawsuit with the PBA president, and that was wrongfully done. I can back up the PBA on that one, but other than that,
that's why the judge ruled that he was not a legitimate news source. So I call him supermarket tabloid, online supermarket tabloid. I mean, honestly, he doesn't investigate things. He attacks Mike Cater. He calls him disgraced. And the only thing that's going on here is that there's an investigation into a potential quid pro quo that he had given his the landlord where he had an office, a contract with the city for $70,000 a year. But I mean, folks, really go do some research, just light homework that's right there available online on the Yonkers City page and stuff. And you can see other people who've gotten $70,000 contracts that you can say, is that quid pro? Like currently Tom Daly and his wife, Carol. And I don't want to pick on them because I think I saw them. They're very old, elderly people. So I don't want to pick on the elderly no matter what. Right. But I'm not picking on them.
Right, but I think one thing Hezi has said that's true, and that was Hezi and Brian Herod.
Yeah, but both of them. Right? He accused me of child pornography.
How a ruse of pedophile.
Yeah,
it's the only legit news that they've ever put up there.
Yeah, and I think that the police also are getting tired. The Yonkers police officers are getting tired of Ruros actually because he almost got beat up on Elm Street. There was after the unity in the community.
I saw that video.
Yeah, you saw that. He was there filming, and then some girl says, "Get that camera on my face."
There's been times where I was on scene with him. I was recording, and he was recording next to me.
Yeah.
And if there was no cop, the first let me tell you, this guy's a smack talker. But he'll only do it in front of the cop.
Yeah.
He does antagonize some people too. So he's got to come in one day. I hate to say it, but it's not how you do it.
A guy went up to him and he was like, "Yo, get out of here." He goes, "Get out of here." Rue Rose Yonkers voice, "Get out of here." He goes, "You're a pedophile. You're a pedophile," right? Live on his show. "You're a pedophile. You like to touch little kids. Get out of here." And I guess he must have pointed to the cops because the guy looks back, goes, "I don't give a F about the cops. Get out of here." And the cops were just chilling, like, "Yeah, kick his ass. We don't like him."
Yeah, he's
that's what I got from the police. Like, they were like, "Get out of here. We don't like him, yo. We don't like him." The two-time convicted felon clearly owns Hezi right out. Just look at this advertising, all the convicted felons, people, facts of facts. Yeah, and this is Johnny Limo, owns top class limo company. And so he's referring to Zahi Jarris, right? Zahi Jarris, when he says the two-time convicted felon who owns Hezi Inc., Hezi Media Inc., which is the company that the Yonkers Tribune is under, and he's the one that kind of maneuvers Hezi into writing, these articles and stuff like that. So, and and that's his, that's his daddy. That's his daddy. His daddy tells you got to do this, and I told that, and I've said that on my show before, and I've said that, I think that Zahi is, Nader Sage even, because the Yonkers Tribune's office is, or their address is registered in Nader Sage's building right there at 10 Palisades. So, but I'm hearing Nader's a nice guy. People are telling me Nader Sage is a nice guy. You got to meet with him. And look, again, I'm the type of guy, like, I feel bad. Like, I used to fight when I was younger. I used to be, I fight, and I would actually fight people, and I beat them up. I would feel bad. Like I would.
He's a good guy. I've met him, but
so I feel bad sometimes when I mess with people like Tasha. I feel bad. Like, I go too far with Tasha. I'm not really a mean person. What's that? I'm sorry.
He's like the quiet mobster.
Who's that?
He's a good Nader. He's a good guy, but
he's a quiet mobster.
Yeah.
He don't like me. He saw me at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. He had this mean face on and stuff. Some people still say hello to me. Some don't, like Steve Sansone. You saw there in the background of the video with Alberto over there talking about me and the Yonkers voice. But anyway, yeah, he almost got beat up there. They don't want him around. I mean, he is a convicted pedophile. He doesn't report everything honestly. He exploits the community. He basically exploits the community. He, puts people on there at their worst times. People when they're dead, people when they've overdosed, going into ambulances after being in an accident. It's exploitive, and people, and don't get me wrong, look, everyone who watches it, you guys support that because you love watching it. He does get a lot of views. He got like 2,000-3,000 views from, somebody being put into an ambulance after an overdose, or some people beating themselves up, so people like to see that. And I know because I put things like that and I get so many views. But I will say I have been getting a lot of views lately. So shout out to all the new followers that I've gotten recently on Basement Politics. I think this week I've gotten like 40 more followers, which, that may not be a lot, but to me, that's a lot, and so people are watching more. My videos are going over 200 and 300, and I don't do this for views, contrary to Alberto. The reason why I like to see the views up is because then that means more people are watching, more people are becoming aware. Awareness is my goal, not money like Ruros or anyone else who needs the views for monetary gain, right? So that's what. Well, I just want to get it back up 53 minutes real quick. Read, please, Councilman Rubo was reported to Liam for several quid quo pros and not one was investigated. This is why people don't speak out, because the officials manipulate and ignore the truth. I did ask somebody about that was very close to Liam, and they just shrugged their shoulders and said, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't investigate. And it's almost like they didn't say there's nothing there. They just said, we don't know, right? So I took that as he just doesn't want to do that. He just picks and chooses who he wants to investigate. And the thing with John Rubo there is that John Rubo has a company, a business, the Yonkers Brewing, which is located in the Charlie Barn building there, over there by the pier, and that's owned by AMS, right? And so John Rubo sits on the chair. He chairs the real estate committee, and he's resided over things going on with AMS and other areas to develop, like Chicken Island. I heard John Rubo was instrumental in helping AMS acquire Chicken Island, and so people are wondering, is he getting a reduced rent, or is he getting any of the person benefits from AMS? I was given information about a company called The Perfect Solution that they said he was getting money from AMS without people knowing. I put that out there. Basic Politics, we we try to, put out the information. It's all about transparency. I appreciate the people giving me the information, the sources. I'm going to continue to do that. And Inside Yonkers, thank you for joining me. You guys are doing great over there. Continue doing what you're doing. Recently, I also saw a page that just popped up called Exposing Yonkers Corruption. So maybe, Anderson, we are like helping create a movement here. What do you think?
It's a whole movement, man.
It takes
and hopefully
everyone.
it's a good movement that makes a difference before the time that it's time for these people to try to extend the term, if that's what their intent is. Maybe we can help in deterring that.
Here's my thing about that. Here's my only thing about that. And I like to be honest. I don't, I don't say I never lied in my life, but I'm not a fan of lying, right? I like to be honest, even if, people may be like, yo, Freddie, what's up with that, right? If not Mayor Spano, then who? Right? So okay. You voted, everybody fought the term elimination, right? Or that thing, right? So that didn't happen. He can't run again. Who? Right? That's what I'm trying to understand. Then who? So, I mean, if it's going to be Corazon, John Rubo, Wilson Kimball, Chuck Lesnick, I've said this before, I'd rather just have Mike Spano stay. And maybe we need to work on this council, so we can have a real checks and balance. That's all. I'm just being honest. I mean, Joe Pinion. Joe Pinion the third for mayor. I'm sorry, say it again.
You really think they have fixing to do? Look what happened with Cater. They got Cater, didn't agree with everything they were doing, and they got rid of Cater.
Yeah. Well, they need more than just one, independent person on the council. That's the problem. You have, one person and everyone else is not independent, and so it's not going to work. But that's why I'm saying, and I'm keep stressing, number one, come out and vote next year. More than 20,000 people have to come out. We have to have a lot more people come out. And two, it's important that we, that these the right people get into 1, 3, and 5, as well as the mayor. It's not just the mayor's seat. People are talking about the mayor's seat, Yes, that's important, but the council seats are important also. It's like a puzzle, right? You can't have one without the other. You're not going to get the entire picture. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm Freddie Vasquez, folks. Joseph Pinion III for mayor. Joe Pinion and Carolyn's opinion for mayor. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Based in Politics. Anderson from Inside Yonkers. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. As always, it's a pleasure. I definitely enjoy having you on every time. Breaks up the monotony a little bit. I like hear other people talk beside myself because I don't just like to hear myself talk, unlike popular belief. Anyway, brother, have a great week. City of Yonkers, have a great week. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks, for joining me. Check out the other episodes. If you haven't been watching, to all the new followers, thank you for joining. Go check out the other episodes. Catch up. If you want to know more about that development on Hudson, the Zoning Board 3, check out that episode. That'll break it down a little bit more to you guys. Again, I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks. Mike Cater for the Democrats. Give the people real choices. Oh, I took my shirt off. I was going to be like, yeah, I got my Democrat shirt on, but I don't. Anyway, folks, have a great night. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Take care. Anderson, it was a pleasure. Have a good night, brother.
Always, man. You too.
Bye-bye. Take care, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a great night. I'm up out of here. Yeah, Johnny, I know. I believe you. I agree with you. Hezi is bought and paid for. The Tribune is a lot of trash. It's a lot of trash. But it was to be expected, John. It was to be expected. I said this. As soon as Mike Cater makes an announcement, there's going to be some kind of response, some kind of, what do you call that? Opposite and equal reaction, or whatever you call that, right? It's going to be something. It's going to be a backlash, something coming back, right? It's going to be a move made. It's all chess, John. It's all chess. So when I put that message out there, I was wanting to see what would happen. And this is the first start of it. Now that Mike's saying it, they're definitely going to come hard, but he should expect that also. He should be prepared as well if he's wise. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a great week, folks. Thank you for watching. All council seats will get challenged. Take that to the bank. Take it to the bank, baby. All seats need to be challenged. That is important. It's not just the mayor. And even if Mike Spano stood in there and there were some independent folks in 1, 3, and 5. It can still benefit the people. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see what happens, folks. We'll have to wait till next year. Anyway, folks, have a great Monday. I like Mondays. I like Monday. I like to be at work. I get bored at home. Anyway, folks, I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. By the way, John Limo is ready to put his money where his mouth is. He's looking for people to run. He's even offering office space to help with the campaign, to help you get elected. This man is serious. He's pissed off. And Hezi, and anyone who's behind Hezi, what you're doing is you're lighting a fire under Decatur's ass if one is not already there. And they're just going to come as hard as possible. Don't put a target on your back. Damn, who am I to talk, right? I'm Freddie Vasquez, folks. Have a great night.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Think so. Possibility. We'll see what happens.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to Basement Politics.
In another one, Mr. Rumo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
The hopes that the people will follow them, so that my competition, the guy who always talks about me and say, awful things about me, he will not have a problem, guys.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. And I was also told that you favor some. I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. And I was also told that you favor some over others. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sammy.
Not long ago, he admitted himself on a live, but I am the bad guy. I am the bad guy.
Freddie wins. Freddie wins.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Are we? Let's make it happen, guys. Make me happy today.
Kermit, what is that sweet spot?
Thank you for watching
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Yes!
In another one, Mr. Rumo.
Kermit,
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. Like I said, political games that are being played. You could have